Hey y'all, in my last video I did a tutorial on masking tricks, and they're both fun and also really useful. And one of the fun ones was showing you how to take off like a superhero. I had a lot of fun with that piece of the tutorial, so I thought I'd do a whole video on how you take off like a superhero and then fly around the world and then land back down on Earth. So if you're interested, let's get into it. And if you're new here, then welcome. My name is Adrienne and I make tutorials on video editing. If you're looking for more tips and tricks for beginner editors, I've got a link in the description box down below so you can check that out. As you can see, I have Premiere Pro open and I already have some videos loaded into the timeline. I'm going to make track number 2 invisible, and let's look at track 1. Track 1 is just the blank scene. This is my backyard. I am not in it. It is important when you are doing this masking trick that you need to record the scene without your subject in it. That's critical. Now, if I make track 2 visible again, you can see this is me. I'm going to jump, and then I'm going to come out and I'm going to land. The first thing that you do is take the playhead back to the start, and I want you to move along and frame by frame and stop where you are at the highest part of your jump. So that's where I am. Then you're going to click that clip, right click on it, go all the way down to add frame hold. Now you can see I am standing, I'm ready to jump, and then I jump, and then I've got this long frame hold. Next, I want you to click the frame hold clip, and I want you to go over to Effect Controls, down to opacity, click the pen tool, and slowly draw a mask around yourself. I'm going to go down to this first clip, and I've got a lot of dead time here, so I'm just going to shorten this clip and move both of these down a little bit. So now you can see that I have masked myself out. Let me select that mask. You can see that there. Next, I want you to select this frame hold, right click, and you're going to nest it. I'm just going to call it nested sequence 1. That's fine. And you're going to nest this sequence because you're going to add the transform effect to it. And the transform effect isn't going to work the way you want it to if you just put it on top of the frame hold. So let's go over to Effects and search for transform. Drag and drop that onto your nested sequence and come over to Effect Controls, and you can see it over here. So come down to the timeline and move your playhead to the very start of your nested sequence. It's going to be here. Come back over to transform, scroll down, and I want you to press the stopwatch to create a keyframe for position. I am going to select that and ease it in. I created a shortcut. If you have not created a shortcut, I just realized, right click on your keyframe, go down to temporal interpolation, and then down to ease in and ease out. So that's where you click those. I created a shortcut in Premiere for myself. So then I want you to move just a couple of frames. We're going to go fast. So maybe just 5 frames, move your playhead. And then we're going to go back over to position and we're going to shoot me up and out. And that creates a second keyframe here. So let's watch it and see what happens. Cool. Okay. I want some blur on me. I'm a superhero. I'm flying so fast that I'm blurry. So we can also do this in transform, in the transform effect. Come down to use composition's shutter angle. That's what that is. And I want you to uncheck it. And then here, shutter angle, we're gonna make it really big, 250. And look how blurry that is. All right, now let's try watching it. See what happens. Cool. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a speed ramp so that this motion isn't quite so sudden. So we want to add a speed ramp to this first clip. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to make that track bigger. Just double click over here to make it wider. Right click, scroll all the way down to show clip keyframes, time remapping, and speed. So now I want to come over here and click the pen tool in the toolbar, come back over here, and I want to click on this line where I want my speed ramp to start. So I can move the playhead. I think it'll be right there. If I click, I make a keyframe. And then where I want this speed ramp to end would be the end of the clip. So I don't need to make another keyframe there. So now I come back over to the toolbar, hit the selection tool, come back over to this line, and I'm going to drag it up because I want it to speed up. So let's see what happens if it's at 214%. I'll move my nested sequence over. Let's watch. That works really well. Now I want to smooth that transition. So I'm going to click on the keyframe and I'm going to drag this out to where I crouch down right before I'm going to start jumping. And I'll move my nested sequence down and let's watch. That's great. I think there looks like there's a little stutter here. Looks like there's a little stutter. I am going to shorten my clip of my jumping by 1, move the nested sequence over, and let's watch it. Let's see if that took care of that. Yeah. So I had made my frame hold in not quite the right spot. It looks like maybe I wasn't quite at the top of my jump. And so if you find yourself in that position, try cutting one frame off of the clip where you're jumping, not the frame hold clip, and see if that takes care of that for you. Next up, I'm going to add a slamming sound, which I've got here. I'm going to put in and an out. I'm going to put it right when I'm jumping. The next thing that we're going to do is add some camera shake. And Premiere Pro does not have a camera shake effect in it. You can get plugins for camera shake, but I'm going to show you an easy way to add a little bit of camera shake just in effects. So if you go over to effects, you can search for the directional blur. There it is. Take directional blur and you're going to drag it down onto the clip on track 1, the clip without yourself in it. Now you don't want any directional blur at the beginning of the clip, just when you take off. So you're going to put the playhead 1 frame before directional blur. You want directional blur. Come over here to Effect Controls hit the stopwatch by blur length. You want it at 0. And then if you move one frame, you can then create another keyframe and bump it up to like 30. And you can see how that changes. And then I want you to move one frame and blur length to 0. And then one frame, 30. You're creating blur length keyframes here. Let's do one more. And now we're back at 0. All right, let's watch it. That looks cool. That's great. Next up, we're going to have me flying like a superhero around some buildings. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to click the nested sequence and hit Option, pull it and copy it, duplicate it. See, there I am. I am going to go over to Effect Controls in that duplicated nested sequence, and I'm going to get rid of my position keyframes. Okay. I'm going to go back to my project panel, and I have a video of some B-roll of a city. So this is the city I'm going to be flying through. Let's make it, it's 5 frames, I think. Let's make it a little bit longer than 5 frames. Let's make it 10 frames. So there I am. Because this green direction, the camera is moving from left to right, I'm going to have myself move from left to right. So I'm going to select that nested sequence. I'm going to come down to transform. I'm going to rotate myself so that I'm flying sideways. I'm going to move my person all the way off. Set a position keyframe. I'm going to go ahead and ease that in with my shortcut. And then I'm going to move the playhead to the end of that clip, select nested sequence, come down to transform, and move myself all the way across and off frame. Now you can see I'm still blurry. I still have the shutter angle up at 250, not 25, 250. Ooh, I fly super fast. Look at that. I'm going to make a few adjustments. I'm going to move the playhead to the head of that clip, and I am just going to move my person down a little bit. If you move the playhead out, you can see where they are. I'm going to move myself down even further. I like that a little bit better. And you can see that I'm flying at a bit of an angle, which is kind of nice. And then I am going to make myself a little bit bigger, closer to the camera. Making myself bigger, you can see my arm has appeared. So I am going to move myself totally off. And then if I click this button, it says go to next keyframe. If I jump over there, you can still see my feet. So I, again, want to move myself totally off frame since I've made myself a little bit bigger. So let's watch it. It's pretty fast. I'm flying pretty quickly, but you can see it there. I think it looks pretty good. I like that I'm flying at a bit of an angle. I like that it's heavy blur. I'm a little bit bigger because I'm closer to the camera. There I go. Now to land, we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did for takeoff, but in reverse. I'm going to go up to this clip of myself jumping, and you can see this is the empty background. So I'm just going to pull video only down, have that for myself again. And then I'm going to copy and paste the attributes from that first clip. I don't want the directional blur, but I did some resizing of that clip, and I did just basic correction with Lumetri Color. So I want it to look the same. Now, if you go back to the source monitor, I'm going to move the playhead across. There I am jumping. And I'll put an in point when you can just see my hand. And then I jump and I land. And I'll do an out point there. Just pull the video down and put it on top here. Now let's open up the program monitor. Again, I want to do the same thing. I want to copy and paste the attributes. I do not want that opacity mask. I'm going to create another mask. I don't think I did it. I did do a little resizing, and then I did have, again, basic correction from Lumetri Color. So I'm going to click OK. And there I am. Okay. I'm going to move the playhead along until I'm at the highest point of this jump. What do you think? I think it's here. So I'm going to delete the rest of that clip, move this forward, right click to add a frame hold. So you can see now I've made all of this a frame hold. I'm going to come over to opacity and draw another quick mask around myself. Come down to the timeline, right click, and nest that sequence. It'll be nested sequence number 2. Come over to effects and search for transform. Drag and drop transform onto that nested sequence. So I'm going to do this in reverse. This is the highest point of my jump. So I'm going to come over here and put a keyframe under transform. And then I'm going to go backwards 5 frames to the front of that clip. And I'm going to move myself off screen. I'm going to ease both of those in. I'm going to come down to use compositions shutter angle and uncheck it, and then bump this back up to 250. So here I come in. I'm going to cut that nested sequence. Go back over to the source monitor and move frame by frame in order to complete the scene. Again, I want to be able to copy and paste those same attributes here. Click OK. I want to do another speed ramp. So I'm going to right click on that clip all the way down to show clip keyframes, time remapping, speed. Let's see. I'll end it here when I land. Gotta click the pen tool. There we go, that's where I want it. Come back over to the toolbar and hit the selection tool. Again, we're gonna speed it up to make it fast. Click that keyframe and pull it apart. Let's see if I can pull this back a little bit. There we go. Now I want to add some camera shake to my crash landing here. And so I'm going to go over to the effects panel. And again, you're going to pull directional blur, but you're going to pull that down onto the clip on track number 2 where you have that speed ramp, because that's when I actually land onto the ground. So scroll down in effect controls, you'll see directional blur here. I want to keep it at 0. I'm going to move frame by frame. Now it looks like here my heel hits the ground, so I want blur here. I want camera shake here. So I'm going to go backwards 1. Oops. There. I'm going to hit blur length under directional blur because I want it at 0. So make a keyframe there. And then I'm going to do, just as we did before, a couple of keyframes of blur length at 30 in order to create the camera shake. All right, now let's watch it and see what we've done. And that's it for me. That's how you can take off like a superhero, fly around wherever you want, and then land back down on Earth. Please give this video a thumbs up if you thought it was helpful. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from all of you. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you in the next one.